And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we're going to start up chapter 4 for the day. Yes, we do have a test coming up from chapter 3, but your time is valuable. Let's not waste a day. This whole A day, B day thing is kind of messing up our schedule, but we're going to make the best of a bad situation. Chapter 4, lesson 1, ordering and comparing integers. Feel free to fast forward through parts of this if you already got this in 6th grade and you are ready to move on. Speaking of ready to move on, if you guys could remind me, please, to go over assignment 28 when we see each other once again. That's going to be, well, actually, I'm not sure that's assigned yet. Shoot, I feel like that's a test day assignment. So scrap that and let's keep going, shall we? All right. So where have we been? We've been working with expressions and equations, algebraic expressions, and just good old-fashioned numeric equations and expressions. But all the stuff has been using either whole numbers, like 3 or 9 or 4 or 8, or decimals, 3 and 2/10, 147 and 8/10. Well, we finally get into integers today. Define, identify, write the opposites, use integers to represent real-world data, graph integers on number lines, and write absolute value of integers. And of course, where we're eventually headed, you guessed it, is complicated expressions and equations with positive and negative integers. Imagine this. How do you have 3 wallets full of money you take away? Well, apparently you owe 11 wallets full of money. Or when we distribute 2 for 143 is 286, but the opposite of positives are negative. So that's why these integer rules are so important. Let's go ahead and, whatever the date might be, go ahead and title your paper and come on back when you're ready. Now, again, I'm going to kind of speed through these notes. There's a lot of stuff here from previous teacher, actually be perfect stuff for in class. I'm really impressed with what she's done. Meanwhile, I was busy building you guys some tests today, so I don't have a lot of time to change this. So if I'm going too fast, pause, rewind if you need to, but we're going to go over all these vocabulary words, integers, negative numbers, positive numbers, absolute value, opposites, and of course, we're going to talk integers in real life. If you've gone through this already and remember it from 6th grade, then please skip past. Integers are whole numbers, are the set of all whole numbers and their opposites. Keyword is going to be opposites. We're going to use that a lot in coming weeks. So 0 is an integer, 0 is a whole number. 1 is a whole number. Its opposite, -1, is an integer. So 1 and -1 are integers, 2 and -2 are integers. In other words, integers are the set of all whole numbers and their opposites. Every whole number is an integer, but not every integer is a whole number. -3 is an integer, it is not a whole number. The set of all numbers and their opposites. All right, on a number line, negative numbers naturally will be, well, on a horizontal number line, we'll say they're to the left of 0. On a vertical number line, we would say that negative numbers, negative integers would be below 0. Now, negative numbers are always written with a minus sign. Some people read it -3. Some people read it -3. Some people read it the opposite of 3. All of those would be a good way to write it. Naturally, positive integers, positive numbers are written with a plus sign, although often you won't see a plus next to the 5, but it is implied. If you do not see a sign, that makes it positive. Now, 0 is an interesting number. 0 is the only number in existence, at least I think, that is neither positive nor is it negative. It has no sign. Opposites. What are opposites? Opposites are integers that are an equal distance away from 0. So, for instance, 1 is opposite of -1. But you could also say in the opposite direction, -1 is the opposite of +1. 7 is the opposite of -7. -4 is the opposite of +4. +9 is the opposite of -9, and so on. Notice that each of those will be equidistant to 0. 7 units away, 7 units away. Absolute value, what does that mean? Well, absolute value, the most common misconception, absolute value means opposite. It doesn't. Absolute value literally means the distance between that number and 0. In other words, how many steps. So the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps away. But the absolute value of 6 is not negative 6. Now think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps away. You cannot take negative steps. You can take steps in a negative direction, but you cannot take negative steps. Now, the absolute value is represented by two vertical bars. Usually those bars are a little thicker. So if I wanted to write a 1, usually those bars are a little thicker than a lowercase l or a 1 without the fancy stuff on the ends. Now, integers can be used to represent real-world situations. If anybody has played games such as golf, to be below par, you could be -3 strokes below par. You could also be +2 strokes above par. The term in the red is a money term. If you are in the red, that's not good because that means you owe debt. The term in the black is a good thing because that means you are above zero. You are breaking even, you're making money. Elevation, naturally, you can be 100 feet below sea level. You could also be 26,000 feet above sea level, which is about the height of Mount Everest. And naturally, temperature can be written as negatives. Negative, shoot, I can't remember what the record that we almost got to was. About -26 degrees. I should mention that is in Fahrenheit. More on different temperatures with our homework assignment. And of course, right now we're sitting in the 50s, 60s, somewhere around there. So these are all different real-world situations that can use integers. Remember, please, if this is easy to you, fast forward. You can even change the speed of this video and watch the video and listen to Mr. Callan sound like a little chipmunk or something if you do that. Find the integers. If they're not integers, instead of just throwing in the garbage can, let's just cross them out. Now, integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So naturally, 73 is a whole number and an integer. But this guy's got parts. That is neither a whole number nor its opposite, so it's not an integer. 68 is a whole number, but 8/18 negative is not. It's not just a negative symbol that makes something an integer. -594 is an integer because it is the opposite of 594, a whole number. 25 53rds and 4 14ths have parts. -3,752 is an integer. 0 wholes and 85 hundredths, I don't think so. But 235 is both a whole number and an integer. Remember, an integer is the set of all whole numbers and their opposites. Excuse me. If you wish, pause for a second, look over these numbers, see where they might go on the number line. Come on back when you're ready. Naturally, 1, 2, which means its opposite would be -2. 3 is also a positive number. -3, -4, -5, and the opposite, +5. Remember, both of those have an absolute value of 5 because each of those is 5 steps away from 0. Naturally, -4 would be over here. To be perfectly honest, usually when I think integers, I'm thinking a vertical number line. And I want you to as well, especially when you think of money, when you think of swimming, anything like that. I really want you to think up or down, increase, decrease. But if you think left to right, that's perfectly all right. I guess I could have just brought this over and had you guys check yourself. Let's keep on going. Match the integer with its opposite. Pause if you need, and figure it out and come on back. Opposite of 33, -33, excuse me, is +33. Opposite of +9 is -9. Opposite of +56 is -56, and so on and so on. Opposites have the same distance from 0, so 67 would be 67 steps away from 0. -67 would also be 67 steps away from 0. Absolute value of 7 is 7 steps away from 0. Absolute value of -24 is 24. Remember, absolute value does not mean opposite. It means distance from 0. How far is 43 from 0? Well, it's 43 steps away. How far is -113? +113. And -67 is 67 steps away from 0. It's not about opposites. All right, I think what I'll do is I'll do 4 words at a time, and I'll try to interspace it. So, for instance, I'll do the first. Withdraw means you are losing money. Deposit means you are gaining money. To fall means to go backward. And to decrease also means a negative direction. So if you wish, pause, look at these next 4, and come up with with where they belong. I won't even talk when I come back. I'll move them where they belong, and then I'll reveal another 4. So then hit pause again, and we'll keep repeating the process until we use up all the vocabulary. All right, pause now and come on back. So loss, negative, above, positive, rise, going up, gain, also increasing. Pause again, come on back when you're ready. Higher going up, below going down, less is less, and spend also means to lose or decrease. Pause now, come on back. Increase going up, more than going up, less than going down. Sorry about save being right here. If you're saving money, that also means an increase or positive direction. Now this video is already getting long. Again, you should be fast forwarding if you need. Write an integer for each phrase. Pause if you wish to write some examples on your paper. Come on back when you're ready. 7 degrees below 0, going up. Again, you don't need to write the positive, but you may if you wish. Owing $50, well, that's no good because it's decreasing. 150 meters above sea level, you may write the positive symbol or not. Moving back 4 spaces, well, back is a decrease or going in a negative direction. 5 shots under par. If you're below par, then that would be also a negative. Let's try to work out these expressions. I'll do the first couple, the absolute value of 6. Well, naturally, that's 6 steps away from 0. Then it asks us to take away 5 from that absolute value, which would be a final answer of 1. Come on over here. The absolute value is kind of like parentheses, kind of like grouping symbols. This says add 2 plus the absolute value of negative 3, but what's the absolute value of negative 3? It's 3 steps away from 0. And then 2 plus 3 is 5. Pause if you wish. Go ahead and work these next couple problems out on your own. The absolute value of negative 12 is 12. I'm going to use a dot for times. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Remember, please, that multiplication and division are equally strong and should go left to right. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. Absolute value of negative 5 is 5. I'm going to just do one step at a time, copy everything else exactly as I see it. Absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. Sorry about the mess in the way. Now, add and subtract also equally strong, going left to right. 15 take away 5, and then add 8 for a sum of 18. That's really all I got, folks. That was a lot of talking. I hope you fast forwarded through the stuff that you're really comfortable with. Assignment number 29 is due, well, guess what? I know I should be checking this tomorrow, but tomorrow you will have a test. So maybe briefly I'll just do a quick homework review. We'll start the first page of the test. Page 93, number 6 through 24 are evens only. 25 through 40 is all. And then number 47 will help you with reviewing your algebra 2-step equations. All right, folks, that's all I got. Take care and do well. Let's grow.